Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Literally What podcast. Happy 2024. Happy weekend. Can you guys believe it's 2024? Because I cannot and still do not believe it. More so because I turned 24 in about 3 weeks. Actually, exactly 3 weeks because my birthday's on a Saturday. And for some reason, 24 just sounds really old. And I just don't believe I'm turning 24 at all. It sounds just a little too serious of a number, but that's okay because it's still going to be the best year ever. But if this is your first time tuning in, hi, my name is Taylor. This is the Literally What podcast. It's a very serious podcast. I'm totally lying to you. We have a lot of fun. We gossip. We talk about pop culture stories. However, we do have a lot of serious stories today because this holiday season, a lot went down, and we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it and have a lot of fun with it. Well, some of the stories aren't fun, but you know what I mean. Anyways, I hope everyone had the best holiday season, and this is our 11th episode. So if this is your 11th time tuning in, I love you so much. If this is your first time, I love you so much as well. And I'm just excited for this new year for the podcast. I took a little bit of a break for the holiday season, but we are back and better than ever. And I'm just excited. I love podcasting. It's just a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it. So New Year's, let's do a little New Year's recap, New Year's Eve recap. If you watched or listened to my last episode, I set a lot of goals for myself. And let me just say that this first week of 2024, I have genuinely surprised and impressed myself. I have honestly had the best week ever, just personally wise, like my personal goals. It's all been going so great, and we'll get into all of that and like my resolution recap of the first week. I also have some resolutions now that I'm implementing into 2024 that I didn't originally really have. It just kind of happened, and I'm gonna keep going. I think the one big thing is I didn't put a lot of pressure on myself at all. Like, no pressure for myself. I wanted to give myself grace and not try to be perfect because I tend to be perfectionist, and it's honestly paid off. So New Year's Eve, me and my husband decided to go to Disney because, you know, I didn't want to do anything too crazy because in my head I was like, if I go out New Year's Eve and I am out all night and I am super hammered and wake up on that Monday, January 1st, hungover and feeling like the worst, I was not going to set myself up to start off 2024 strong. And I had that in my head originally way before New Year's Eve. I was like, I know that I don't want to go do anything crazy. And so we went to Disney Springs, the boardwalk, and I will never go there again on New Year's Eve because it was insanely packed. And I don't know why in my head I didn't think it would be packed. I knew there would be people. I just thought, oh, we're going to go not to one of the parks. We're going to go here. Well, Taylor, that's literally the free places people go when they can't go to the park and want to go to Disney. So that was one of my worst ideas, but it was still fun. And then we just came home and watched the New Year's Eve Ryan Seacrest, whatever show. Also, and I've never thought about this before, but do the people who get to Times Square to watch the ball drop that freaking early, how do they go to the bathroom? Are they in diapers? Because the interviewer was basically asking them, oh, well, what are you gonna do about the bathroom? And asking if they were wearing diapers, and they wouldn't say. They would just be like, oh, we just didn't drink anything all day and blah, blah, blah. The more I think about the people who stand in Times Square, you can't bring in alcohol. You can probably bring snacks, but you're just sitting there in the freezing cold and can't go to the bathroom. And I have the bladder the size of a squirrel's. If I have to go to the bathroom and I can't get to a bathroom, my stomach will implode on me and I will feel like I'm actually dying. And I don't understand how those people do it. They have to be wearing diapers. Because I saw some TikTok live stream and they were getting there at 7, 8 a.m. What the heck? I don't know. Good for them, I guess. They got to see the ball drop at a great spot, I guess. But there's other ways. I don't know. I kept thinking about that. And anyway, so we saw the ball drop. Some of the performances, they were good. Some weren't, it is what it is. So anyway, I did stay up till midnight, and then I woke up that Monday. I had off of work and I started my resolutions, and I have been kicking ass. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have been just doing a lot for myself, for my mental health, to set myself up for success. And everything I've been doing, it's a Saturday, so I've been doing my resolutions, I guess, 5 days. I have never felt more like clear-headed and just positive, if that is even a word. And let me get into what I've been doing. Some of this, it was some subconscious words. Hello. And then it just kind of stuck, and it made me feel great when I wasn't doing these things or when I was doing these things. And I just feel like my head is like so clear, and I'm just like, Anyway, so first thing I've been doing is my screen time on my phone. If you would have seen my screen time last year, it is so bad. It's a constant. I was constantly on it. And towards the end of the year, and even leading up to New Year's Eve, I was just, my head and my eyes, like I'm always just in pain, and like I have a headache and my eyes will hurt. And I realized I am on my screens like all day. I work from home, so I'm on my computer all the time. I obviously love social media, and so I'm always on social media. So once I'm done working, I'm on my phone or on my computer. And so I just realized, like, you need to make a switch, because you cannot stare at a screen the rest of your life as often as you do. So I have been so much better about not having my phone. If you know me, I always would have my phone like in my pocket. Like I always have to have it on me. And when I tell you, like, since the new year has started, if I'm going to another room to like plan out my podcast or go to do laundry or go do something that I don't need my phone, I will literally keep my phone in that other room and will not touch it. And that gives me a good hour or however long I'm doing something to just take a break from my phone. And my head just feels so much clearer. I don't feel as like, ugh. Also, when I'm waking up in the morning, I will not touch my phone. I do not touch my phone first thing in the morning. Now, first thing in the morning, I will read, I'll do the Bible, I'll go walk my dog, I will do something that is not staring right at a screen. And then when I go to bed, I get in bed, I put my phone up, I set my alarm, and then I read. So the last thing I see before I go to bed is a book and not a screen. And I am loving it. Like, I don't know why. I've never had that resolution. I've never thought it was a problem until I was like looking at my screen time, and my eyes have, I'm pretty sure, gotten worse, which is awesome for me. So I've been doing that, and I just feel so much better. And that's been something that I did not expect to bring into 2024, but I have been, and I have been loving it. So sorry, phone. I love you, but it's kind of like a semi breakup, because I'm always with my phone, and now I'm trying to leave it in another room, and I have separation anxiety. So it's like, it's difficult, but I just try to stay busy with other things. So that's been something that has been implemented that I didn't think I would. So go me. Another thing, my husband and his best friend, I don't know why this occurred. We were at Mexican. I don't know if it was the margaritas talking, but they decided to see who go the longest without eating meat. And if you know them, like they love to eat meat. Okay? They do. Like, that's, if they could eat all meat for the rest of their lives, they would do that. And so it has now been on me to come up with meals that don't have meat. They can't have fish, so I guess they're pescatarian. And I have been loving it. I have been making a lot of vegetarian meals, and then a lot of meals with shrimp or salmon and stuff like that. And going along with that, since I've been making these meals for him, I have not gone out to eat all week. I've not gone out to eat at all in 2024, which, I mean, it's like, what, 5-6 days? But I feel like so much better just from these few days of not going to eat out. And I don't know if it's because I'm not eating meat, but I feel just a lot better. And I'm also, 2024 is the year that I become the best cook in the world. I have never liked to cook. I'm just not the best at it. However, I have been making some pretty bomb-ass meals, and they're tasty, and my husband says they're tasty, and he could just be being nice, but they have been pretty good. So that's been another thing that I've implemented, I guess, is I haven't been eating out. I also have not drank any alcohol since New Year's Eve. And again, it's not like I am never doing any of this for the rest of 2024 and I'm totally changing my whole lifestyle. It's just, it's more of a mindset thing that I can do this. I can go without my phone. I can go without going out on a Friday and drinking. I can go without going out to eat all the time. I can sit at home and cook a really nice home cooked meal, get in bed early, put my phone up and read a book. And I feel like I'm in a grandma era in a way, but it's so good for me because I've, in my 23 years, almost 24 of living, I've been go, 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 always on my phone, just like not taking care of myself. And so I feel like now I'm just focusing way more on myself and I feel so good about it. And it's been amazing. Also, I've been taking vitamins daily and that's been really good. It's really just about, I'm trying to form habits because I love to start something and then I never follow through. But I've been following through with all of this and I really do think it's because I'm not putting a ton of pressure on myself. And it's just, I felt good from doing it these first few days. So I feel like I'm going to continue to do that just because I feel so good. And there you go. I mean, that's how my 2024 has been. I don't want to sound all braggy, but like it's been going pretty well and that never happens for me. So that's why I also am bragging on it because it's just great. And I'm doing a lot more for me and for myself. And there you go. 2024. Great start. What else did I want to tell you guys about? Oh, so since I am turning 24, I saw something else that was like 2020 is 4 years ago. It's not 2016 or 2017. And I just feel really old. 2020 feels insane because I guess 2020 was the whole COVID. And then I worked at Disney for just like a few months for the Disney college program. And I think that was in 2020. So the fact that that was 4 years ago is insane. And it's like, what happened in those other 4 years? Obviously, like, I graduated college, I got married, but it just feels so odd. And this year, 2024, just feels different. It feels like this week also, like, I have had a lot of personal success and have been doing great, but this has been the longest week of my whole entire life. I technically had a 4-day work week, but the fact that it's only Saturday, I feel like I've been in 2024 forever, honestly. And I guess maybe it's a good thing that this year will move a little bit slower and not super quick like all the other years. Maybe we're finally getting back into a more slower pace where life's not passing us by kind of thing. I really hope that if you guys remember like growing up, 2014 era, like that, I feel like all of that good vibes, 2014 and 2016 is going to be the vibes of like 2024. I don't know, but it's kind of giving 2014, 15, 16, like YouTube era and just like the neon, like super saturated, like YouTube video gurus that I would watch on YouTube and the frappuccinos and like, I don't know, like, do you remember the summers in 2014? Like it was just so, looking back, colorful, like everything was colorful about it. And it was like so much fun and just like amazing vibes. And that is what I feel like 2024 is going to be. It's going to be the year of color and like personal growth and just like self-love, and I'm excited for it. So 2024 is off to a good start. And that has been a lot of ranting to you guys for this first episode back, but I just had a lot to say because I obviously haven't talked to you guys in a couple weeks, so I was just excited to get back into it. But I will stop talking your ear off, and without any further ado, let's get into some hot gossip, hot take stories, and advice that will have you guys saying, literally what? Literally what? Okay, so we have 4 stories today. The first 2 are some hefty stories. There's some big stories that happened. And I don't even know what to say. It's a lot. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of things that are still unraveling. And, you know, there's a lot that has happened in 2024. In the first week, a lot has been going on. So let's just get this first story over with because it's it's not a happy story. It's not a happy, fun story, you know? But our first story of the day, Jeffrey Epstein's court documents with names of his associates have been unsealed. So yes, his documents have come out. And I think a lot of people were and still are very confused when this was posted, because I think a lot of people assumed it was a list of all the bad people and that was that. And it's not. It's like thousands of pages of documents. So it's basically, it's not a list of his clients. It's not a list of names. It's just names of people that have been brought up in court. So if you look through the actual documents, it's like thousands of pages of just like the transcripts from the court. And so, for example, if someone was asking a witness, did you know this person? Did you see this person? And they were like, no, I've never seen this person. No, I don't know this person. That person's name is still on the list, even if they had no, like, if they were never a part of it. It's just anyone who was mentioned in these documents in court are on the list. And so I think it's confusing a lot of people, because they're like, oh, this person was mentioned in the document, so they obviously are bad and did this and that. And it's like, no, some of the names are just like, they were just asked in court and literally they were exonerated or whatever the word is. So yeah. Anyway, what else? I was trying to read this article. So there were 45 court documents that were made public on Wednesday, and I think on Friday there were even more that have been released. And yeah, there's just a lot. Me and my husband were trying to read through all of it, but it's so long and there's so many words, and it is going to take people a long time, I think, to get through them. Some of the transcripts, part of the like court, were very not good for some people. And yeah, there were a lot of things that were said that were not good about certain people, and then other people were just like, yeah, they didn't have any part in this. So I think as we get later on and more people have time to actually read and comb through all the documents, we'll get a little bit more information of who was who and, you know, what their role was. But for now, that is kind of what is ongoing. Is they're out, people are going through them, but the list, it's not a name of like all the bad people. It's just everyone that has been brought up in court. And I'm honestly, it's 2024. This was it first talked about in I think 2015 or 2016, and the fact that people are still so invested and wanting all of this to come out, I think is so great, because we did not let this die. We did not let, you know, the documents come out and be like, oh, okay, it's like people are like, give us the names, like we want to know. So I think that's really amazing that people are still interested and want to know and get justice. So we will see what continues to happen and what continues to come out of these documents. But if you are going through social media and you do see like a name and people say something, you really don't know for sure, because some of the names don't mean anything, if that makes sense. So you just got to be careful and do your research. But it's a lot. But just don't trust everything you see. I mean, that goes with the internet, but headlines can be deceiving. Okay, our next story is just a whole bunch of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I cannot believe, I knew she would get attention, but when I first talked about her getting released on the last podcast episode, the success and the amount of attention she has right now is insane to me. So she got out. She now has, I think, like 6 point something million. She has 7.1 million followers, and she has been killing it, crushing it, whatever you want to say. And I honestly am obsessed with keeping up with her and seeing everything. And there's been a lot of articles that have come out. I think the first one, if you guys ever remember seeing this little article that came out, why can I not talk today? But Gypsy Rose Blanchard was bragging about her sex life after leaving prison. So if you've seen her husband, he's been getting a lot of hate on the internet. And the internet, we know, is a hateful place, and it can be a hateful place. So she was responding to comments under his Instagram post and saying, Ryan, don't listen to the haters. I love you and you love me. We do not owe anyone anything. Our family is who matters. I love you. But then she finished this comment, and you've probably seen it on social media, by saying, besides, they're jealous because you are rocking my world every night. Yeah, I said it. The D is fire. Happy wife, happy life. And I mean, she just got out of prison. She's married. And, you know, I think one thing for GYPSY is this is her first time being out in the real world, and she's never been on social media. So she gets out of prison. She now has these millions and millions of followers. And even people now who have had social media their whole lives growing up, it's a confusing place. And I think that she's going to continue to gain that following and have a lot of opportunities. I think she's going to be a very, very, very well-off person for herself. I think she's going to end up doing a lot of things and making a lot of money and making impacts. And so I think she needs to kind of dial it down, maybe go talk to someone who can help her navigate through social media, because it is a lot. And I think she just doesn't really know how social media is, because again, she's never been on it. But yeah, so that happened. Everyone went crazy. Oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. So that happened, but she's been doing a lot. So she had her Lifetime docuseries come out. I think it's 2 parts. So she went to the opening of that last night for Lifetime, and her husband were there. They looked really cute. She had an ebook coming out. What else? She basically she came out of prison and she came out swinging. She came out swinging. She's ready to go. It's crazy. She was on The View. She's done a lot of interviews with her and her husband. Gypsy Rose Blanchard also wants to do some good for the world with Kim Kardashian on prison reform. So this just recently came out about how she was saying that, and she was saying it on The View, how she wants other people who may be in a situation like hers to not follow the path that she went down, because she did not take the right path, and she wants people to be able to make the right decision and the best decision for themselves. And so she said that I think it would be super cool, because Kim Kardashian has a huge platform for prison reform, and I've obviously been in prison. So I think having those 2 elements, we could probably do some good for the world. And as we know, Kim does a lot of work with prison reform. She has done a lot, visited a lot of prisons, and that is something that she's passionate about. And yeah, I'm trying to read all this. There's just so much about her because she's everywhere now. And anyway, so Gypsy Rose, she honestly, I wish her the best. She looks amazing. I really think she's going to take off, and I think she will do a lot of good. I really do think that she is grateful for having, you know, the support that she has now. I think that she needs to reel in her social media in a way and just be a little bit more, you know, oh, here's my code, or here's my link tree, or, you know, I think she needs to, if she is going to be an influencer and wants to make good in the world, I think that she can, and she just will need a little bit of coaching on that, obviously, since she's been in prison for the past 7-8 years. But she looks really good. Her and her husband, I watched the interview that they did with Good Morning America, and you can tell that he really does just love her. And I think that, you know, who knows what she'll end up doing. As I said, this is another story that is continuously evolving, and 2024 is the year of Gypsy, it looks like. So we will see what she continues to do. But I think her Lifetime documentary is out, at least part of them are, and I think it's the Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose. Yeah, so Gypsy Rose, you're killing it, girl. 7.1 million followers. I think the last time I checked, she had like 6. So she gained 1 million followers overnight or something. So she's really going all in. Okay, our next story. ARIANA MADIX is suing Tom Sandoval over their shared LA home. I talk about ARIANA all the time. Her and Tom dated for 10 years, and it came out that him and her best friend were having an affair together, and they obviously had a house together in LA. And so she is hoping a judge will force her and her ex-boyfriend, Tom Sandoval, to move out of their LA home. According to court documents obtained by People, MADIX and Sandoval disagree on the sale of the home that they co-own together and they still live in. Like, they both still are in this house together, and they broke up in March of this year. Or no, not this year, last year. Madix is reportedly hoping that the court will declare that she and Sandoval must sell the home which they bought together in 2019 as a partition by sale, which means that they would sell the house and then just split the money. Madix is also requesting an equitable allocation of the proceeds. This will include the payment of debts secured by, this is all like legal stuff, whatever. So we will see what happens with that. Madix said that she had less anxiety living in the house post breakup than she did when they were romantically involved, and she worried about where he was late at night. Blah, 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 blah. So we will see what happens with that. I can't imagine living in a house with an ex, especially one who betrayed you like that. Not even just a mutual, hey, we just don't work, and figuring out how to get rid of the house, but a major betrayal, and then they can't even figure out how to sell the house, and he's of course probably being an asshole about it, and now they're in this house together almost a year later. We will see what happens with that. I hope she gets out of the house. And why would you still want to live together? Like, why? People make things difficult sometimes. So anyway, okay, our last story is about the golden wedding. So Golden Bachelor, we recapped that all last year. It was the Bachelor who was 70, and they had their wedding last, I think it was Thursday, because I believe it was on January 4th. I'm probably saying that totally wrong, but it was live streamed on ABC, and a lot of people were hating. But if you think about it, it's not a typical wedding. They're much older. It's their second wedding, and it's an ABC wedding that is live streamed. So it's their wedding and they're happy, and I don't know why they were getting so much hate on it, but they were, and whatever, they looked really good. Susan from the season, she officiated the wedding, and then Kathy and Charity from Dancing with the Stars, but Kathy, who was on the season, she emceed or helped MC the wedding. Why? I don't know. If you watch the season, Kathy was like the villain of the season, I guess, and was very mean to Teresa. So the fact that she emceed the wedding was just odd to me. Again, everything with the Bachelor franchise is viewership based, so maybe they just were doing it for some views. But Teresa did look really pretty, and I did not watch it live. I didn't watch it at all, but I did see some clips and then read some articles about it, and it seemed like a really pretty wedding. Some couple did get engaged, and again, people were hating on that, but they were like, oh, well, he asked Gary's permission beforehand, and you know, again, it's an ABC, like it's a televised wedding, so whatever. I think it's tacky to get engaged at someone else's wedding, but it's not a typical wedding, and I hope that they live happy together forever. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that happened at it. Leslie and Gary did a bouquet toss and a first dance. And there were a lot of people from Bachelor Nation that were there. And I'm trying to see. I mean, it was just a wedding. I don't think anything crazy happened, but there were a lot of people that were there from the Bachelor franchise. It's always so interesting to see at different events, like which Bachelor franchise people get invited to certain places, because I feel like Bachelor likes certain couples and then doesn't like other couples and people and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, it looked like a pretty wedding, and I hope they live happy ever after together. And I am so, so excited to see the Golden Bachelorette. I am hoping they announce it really, really soon. I know The Bachelor comes out in a couple weeks, but I really want a Golden Bachelorette, and I want to know who they would pick from Gary's season, because there were a lot of women that I really, really loved, and I think that would just be so much fun to see a Golden Bachelorette, because I think, I mean, that Golden Bachelor had to be so successful. It was so different, and I think it was really smart of the franchise to do that. And yeah, okay. So those are all the stories that I had today. I didn't want to do anything too like random and like, why the heck are we talking about this? Because I did have those two big stories. And we are now going to get into our new segment of the Literally What podcast. And when I was kind of planning out in my head about the podcast. What do I hope? What do I want for it? What do I want to see? What will my audience want to see? And obviously the podcast is called Literally What, and it's about things that are talked about that make you say literally what. And we had our advice segment last year, which I did help a lot of people out, and that was a lot of fun to do. But I was like, there's got to be some other segment I can do that's just gonna be a little bit more fun and crazier. And so I came up with a segment. I don't have like the perfect name for it. It's basically just crazy stories and things that have happened to people or that they've heard about. And so I posted it on my Instagram story. And then it is also, if you go to my Instagram, there is a link in my bio that it's like an anonymous Google form. So you just go to the website and put whatever you want down. It's completely anonymous. It's not like my email where I'll still see what email address it comes with. I won't see what email address, won't see anything unless you write your name down and anything like that. And I got a lot of really good submissions. So I think this is going to be the better of the segments. And so I want to make sure that everyone listening, I don't care who you are, everyone listening has a crazy story. We have plenty of crazy stories. We've heard crazy stories. We have done crazy things, and I want to hear them. The audience wants to hear them. That's why we're here, to listen to crazy things. So if you're listening to this, I want you to get out your phone, whatever you're watching this on, listening to this on, and go to my Instagram bio, click it, click the Google form, and write down something crazy, because I just want to know. I want to know everyone's crazy thoughts and stories. But I picked out 2 really funny ones, 2 really good ones, and we're going to get into them right now. So without any further ado, let's get into the crazy stories segment. First one. Hey, Literally What Pod. Hello. Okay, so I was on a flight last summer, and it was one of those long flights where they give you a meal instead of snacks. I've actually never been on a flight that serves you a meal. So that's a goal. So I'm eating my lunch, and the lady next to me all of a sudden starts cutting her chicken super slow and eventually just stopped. I looked over and her eyes were closed and her arms were like stuck in the cutting position. I started freaking out and I made eye contact with one of the flight attendants. I low-key thought this lady next to me had just died. 4 other attendants and a co-pilot eventually came over, forming a little wall around us. And I'm not even joking. A couple minutes later, the lady opened her eyes and said, "Took 2 strong of sleeping pills," and then fell right back asleep into the same position. So the whole rest of the plane flight, I sat next to her while she was in the same weird position. That was the longest and weirdest flight ever. Okay, I definitely overthink everything, so I also too would have thought that the lady was probably dead. But I feel like planes and airports is where the craziest, weirdest things happen, because it's people from all over going somewhere. Like people from all over on one plane, or like that crazy lady who was like, "That mother is not real." That was, I don't know why I did the accent, ignore me. But I just feel like the craziest things happen on airplanes. But if I was sitting next to someone and they were just like cutting and then like stopped, I would be like, what is going on? Because it's not like they're just sleeping. Like you were eating a meal and it seemed like she was cutting into her meal and then stopped. So I too would have freaked out and thought that she was, but I'm glad that she wasn't. So that's really good. Let's get into our second crazy story. My ex told me that since I wouldn't raise our kids Catholic, he is going to become a priest. He would rather be celibate than not with me. My ex told me that since I won't raise our kids. Okay, so it seems like, oh my, yeah. Since I won't raise our kids Catholic, he is going to become a priest. So, number one, did he become a priest? And I guess if you're a priest, you have to be celibate. Is that how it works in the Catholic Church? Well, first of all, I think you dodged a bullet, because first of all, when it comes to relationships, if you don't agree on the really big things like religion, politics, I forget, Bible, but that's religion. Now I'm thinking of sorority recruitment stuff. But if you can't agree on big things like that, then it is never, ever going to work out. And I think you dodged a bullet. I think that's good. And if this is the path that he wants for himself, then all you can do is say bye, like, wish you the best, but you lost a great one. And religion is hard, especially when it's like too opposing. It's just difficult. There's just certain things in relationships that if you don't agree on it, and when it has to do with how you raise children and how you live your daily lives, it makes it very difficult. So I think you did dodge a bullet. That is a crazy thing that he not just broke up with you, but then became a priest because of you, it sounds like. But you know, it's better than ending up married to him and then all of a sudden he's like, okay, well now we have to raise our kids this way, and you know, that just would have been worse. And like I always say, you will find the right one and you will agree on things, and the big things that you agree on will matter, and that is all that matters. The little things don't matter so much. But that's crazy though, that I want to know if he is a priest now, or if that was just like he just said it to you to be like piss you off. But I wish him luck, and I wish you luck, that you will find someone who does want to be with you and agrees with your I don't know what I'm trying to say anymore. I guess I'll just stop it right there. So that was our crazy story segment. There were a lot of other funny ones, but I just wanted to keep it short and simple to kind of, you know, dip your toes in the water of this new segment. And again, write in any crazy stories. It's totally anonymous, and I think this is going to be a super fun segment that I'm really excited about. Another thing that I have been doing in 2024 is, if any of you have Goodreads, I had Goodreads and then I was just never using it, and I started it back up again at the start of 2024, and I have been reading the ACOTAR series, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses. I finished that first book. I'm now on the second one, and for those who don't know, ACOTAR is like a fantasy series, so it's kind of like an intro to fantasy. I typically only read like crime, true crime, mystery, thriller, and I've never read a fantasy book, but apparently this is like an intro to fantasy. And so I started reading that. I am freaking obsessed. I am obsessed, okay? And I know a lot of you are thinking, fantasy, like, oh my gosh, like that's just so stupid and so childish. No, it is not, okay? There is action, there is romance, there is thrill, adventure. It is so freaking good, and I think that fantasy might just be my next favorite genre. And I think with fantasy, it's a way to escape, and I'll always joke with my husband, because now I just get in bed and I read, and so I'm like, okay, I'm going to Prytherian, which is the fairy like land, or where the book's set in. So I'm like, okay, I'm going here as a joke, but it really is, when you read, you get immersed into it, and it's so good. So I encourage everyone to read the first ACOTAR book and don't get put off that it's fantasy, because fantasy just means it's not set in the human world, and who wants to read about the human world, because the human world kind of sucks sometimes. So now you're able to get into this fantasy world, and like, oh my gosh, it's so fun, and they can like fly and have all these magical powers, and why can I not have a magical power? All I want is to have a magical power. That would be so fun. And it's just been so good. And I'm on the second book, and on my Goodreads, I set a goal to read 12 books this year, because you can do like a reading challenge. And it's so hard to find books that I want to read. And I'm also struggling if I want to get a Kindle or not, because I think it ends up being cheaper. Books are $25 a piece, right? And a Kindle you pay, I think, $90 to $100. And then I believe the books are cheaper, but you don't get that book experience with the pages. And I highlight in my books and write in them and stuff, just because it helps me remember. And I'm just debating if I want to get a Kindle or not, because I feel like it would be something that I end up getting and never use. So I think I should just stick with getting books, actual books. I actually am staring right now. I ordered a bookshelf, and my husband put it together the other day, and so I have like all of my books on it. And we eventually one day want to get a really big house and have a really gorgeous library. So I might as well just get real books, so that one day in the future, when we manifest our library room in our book, library room in our book, I'm not okay, library room in our house, that we will have all these books to fill it up with. And I do love books. Really, the only thing that's holding me back is it's pricey to get books. And I am a fast reader. I read really fast. Now, math and science, no, but I can read. So I don't know. And a Kindle also, it would be nice to have just to bring anywhere. It's like really skinny and like just light, and you can bring it wherever. But I think I should just stick with my books. But if any of you have a Kindle and you were like me and loved reading books, and you do like your Kindle now, drop a comment below, because maybe I can be switched to the other side of book reading. The only thing is, you'll have the book, and then is there like a library in the Kindle, or I don't know how any of that works, because I just have paperback books that I write in and love to go back. Oh, that's another thing is, I don't know what to do. So leave a comment if you're team Kindle or team paperback or hardback or whatever they call them, because I feel like it's a debate and I don't think anyone's right or wrong. I just want to know if I should invest or not invest, because I would get it as a birthday present for myself. Otherwise, I'll just buy a few books for myself, if that makes sense. So let me know in the comments below what I should do. I'm trying to think what else. There was so much I wanted to say to you guys, but my brain goes a million miles an hour that I just forget everything. I am going to try super, super, super hard to keep the podcast on a schedule. So I'm going to attempt my best to upload every single Saturday. So that way you all know when to look forward to seeing my face or listening to my voice, and so that it's more of a, routine kind of thing. Saturdays are going to be what I aim to do, because I have the whole day to film, edit, all of that, upload, and we will see how that goes. But I hope that everyone's 2024 is off to an amazing start. I really do have the best feelings. Oh, another thing. Sorry, I meant to talk about this at the beginning of the episode. So going back to not being on my phone as much, I had a Finsta account, which if you don't know what a Finsta is, it is a fake Instagram account that you make for yourself to be able to look at other people's profiles and them not know who you are. So I've had a Finsta since high school, and I have been a stalker. I have stalked so many people in my years of living. I love doing it. It gives me a rush, and I finally gave it up. I'll be honest, this is what really happened. So I logged out of my Instagram because my app wasn't working, and so I deleted the app. And when I went back in to log into all of my accounts, my Finsta account, I didn't have the password, and then I didn't know the email. It was all very confusing because I've had it for so many years and I just forgot it because I made it all fake. And so I was going to try to recover it somehow or make a new one, and I eventually just forgot about it. And then, so really, I technically didn't give it up. I was forced to give it up. I mean, I did have another account that I could use as well, but I was like, maybe this is my sign to stop stalking people, because if you're stalking them, you A, probably don't like them, or B, they're people that you're like, oh, I wish I had that, or blah, blah, blah. And it's not good for your mental health. So I did give up my Finsta, and I also went through and just started following people that made me feel good about myself, or those influencers that, have all these healthy routines. And I mean, it could be fake, whatever, but it makes me feel motivated. And, people that they'll post recipes or their daily vlogs. And so I started following more people in that realm and unfollowing people who, especially influencers who just weren't making me feel good about myself. I don't know if any of that makes sense. Social media is a weird spot to be in, and I've been just trying to be better about it. How words are hard. However, my podcast account, I do obviously follow the news and celebrities because I want to keep updated on that. I love stuff like that, and I want to keep you guys updated on that. But just more so personally for me, I am cutting back in my personal Instagram and personal Finsta. So that is gone. And that leads me to the question. This is something that I think everyone has the question of: when is it okay to unfollow someone? Because I saw a TikTok, and this girl was saying, when I unfollowed the girl that I met in line for a concert 5 years ago. And that, I was like, I cannot believe she did that. I follow people that I have met years and years ago at the most random places, and I still follow them and I still like all their pictures. And unless they unfollow me, I am not unfollowing them, because I want to keep up with them. It's like this weird person in time that brings you back to this random spot, and I want to keep up with them and follow with their lives. And I can't imagine what would happen if one of those people that I randomly met at a random place unfollowed me on Instagram. It has happened to me before. I forget what it was. I feel like we met, oh gosh, I don't remember. It was the most random thing, and we followed each other, and then I think it was some I honestly don't know. I don't remember. But they unfollowed me, and I was like, it felt like a breakup, kind of. It really hurt, because what does it give you to unfollow me? Am I just that annoying on social media? Or just like mute my posts and stories so you never have to see me, but don't unfollow me and like hurt me like that. So I was just like, I want to know when people think you should unfollow someone, because to me, if they don't unfollow you, I'm not going to unfollow them, because like, why would I do that? It was like such a special time, and you're just going to unfollow me and like try to erase that memory we had together? Why would you do that? Why? So that's my answer. I don't think you should ever, unless they unfollow you. But what is the motivation behind unfollowing that person? I just don't understand. I don't get it. And that's okay, because I will never understand social media and whatever. So anyway, that I think is everything I had to tell you guys. But you know me, I always have the most random thoughts pop in my head. Thank you, ADHD. Okay, well, now that you guys have listened to this podcast, it's time for you to go off and do something fun for the first weekend of the new year. I'm really excited for this year. I have a lot of fun things coming up, because it goes my birthday, and then my husband's birthday, and then our anniversary when we started dating, which I will still celebrate. I don't care what people say. I still want to celebrate that. And then we're going on this lake trip with our friends, and then I'm taking him to Disney for his birthday, which I'm so freaking excited about. So that will be in February, and I want to make like a vlog, because we're going to Animal Kingdom for the day, and I have planned out every step we are going to take. I am very type A OCD, and I want this to be the best Disney day he's ever been to. So I am planning out how we can do everything in a day. We're going to get such fun drinks. We're going to get such good snacks, and I want to make sure that I'm giving him the best snacks and drinks he can get there. So I'm doing all my research. We are, first thing, going on the safari. And then we're just going to go from there. It's going to be the best day ever. So that's going to be really fun. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to see if I continue with the things I've been implementing this first week of the new year, see if they stick as habits. And if not, again, no pressure on myself, because life is short and the world is wide. Where is that from? But I just wanted to thank everyone for tuning back in to the first episode of the 2024 season, episode 11. I am so excited to be back and to continue chatting and gossiping and reading your crazy stories. So make sure you please are following the Instagram, giving us a like on the YouTube videos. I do post all of my YouTube videos, so you can see my gorgeous face and pink background. And what else? Yes, please give a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And, whatever else your heart desires. If you want to send this to a friend, be like, hey, you might really like this podcast, and I would really appreciate it. But I will see you guys next Saturday, if I get my schedule right. And we will get back into some more hot gossip, hot takes, stories, and advice. And that will have you say, literally what? Bye, guys.